Welcome back to the second hour of the show with no name for August 24th, 2012. Our friend Pete Rose had to, I guess he actually works for a living, unlike a couple of us anyway. And
Wait a minute.
what?
You know, you're insinuating that
You're not working? You're working these days?
we're not doing anything. I'm always working.
Okay, I got to say, you know, you have those fiber sanding things.
Yeah.
Put a couple of them to good use this summer. Let me tell you, that's a phenomenal piece of whatever it is. I don't even know what you call it, but boy, when you need something like that, it's great to have it.
Non-woven pads are called.
Non-woven pads.
Yeah. Non-woven. I don't know what that means.
And what do you use them for, Jim?
Me, I don't use them at all. My wife uses them to scrubbies on the pots and pans.
Yeah. Mary's been cutting little pieces off for pieces that she just wants to use once and throw away. You know, it might get germy or something. You know.
Well, yeah, that could be, but they're reusable. You can clean them and reuse them.
Yeah.
I'm going to be running out of them quick because I haven't had an order from my customer since December, which is very unusual. So I put a phone call into him the other day, and he hasn't returned it, which tells me that they will be no longer buying them.
Wow. Well, then you have to just find another buyer.
I'll have to find another job.
You know, maybe Cylinder or one of those big companies. Oh wait, no, they're bankrupt, aren't they? Yeah. Well, we got the Republican National Convention coming up next week, weather permitting.
Yes.
They're making alternate plans just in case.
Yeah. What kind of alternate plans?
I didn't read.
Like doing the following week. We can't do it the following week. The Democrats are grab theirs the following week.
I just read the headline.
The alternate plans ought to be like, you know, come to Amsterdam. What the heck?
There you go.
Yeah,
Come on down to Eagle Street. Get your cars keyed.
That's right.
Now, what do you think of Romney naming his vice presidential candidate as early as he did before the convention, as opposed to waiting to use the convention as his platform to announce?
I think part of it was he's trying to blunt some of Obama's plans and figuring if he could get the right.
I got to say, it's worked brilliantly up to this point. I've been a big fan of Paul Ryan since the first time I saw him. This guy is very articulate, and to me, there are several things. Well, first of all, Ryan's a man of ideas. He's in the Jack Kemp mode, and I was a big fan of Kemp's back in the olden days, back in 1980 when I first met Jack Kemp. Ryan's a lot like him. He's like a younger version of Kemp, and Kemp wasn't that old when I saw him. It shows me two things. One is that Romney's not afraid to have smart thinking guys around him. One of the commentators said that Ryan is exactly the type of person Romney used to hire at Bain Capital. He would get these young go-getters out of business school who were bold thinkers, and that's the kind of stuff he wanted. He's not afraid to be overshadowed by this guy's genius. I mean, he really is. Ryan really is a genius, whether you agree with his positions or not. The other thing that impresses me is that Romney is not making no effort whatsoever to rein him in. I think back, for example, when the elder George Bush chose Dan Quayle, when McCain chose Sarah Palin. Immediately, the handlers came in and said, "This is all you can say. You can't say that. Here's your speech for tomorrow." Blah blah blah. And Ryan goes out without a teleprompter and without a note, and is knocking them dead on the trail. Quayle, I mean, we think of Quayle as being this as being kind of a dolt. He wasn't. Quayle, before he got chosen, could sit and talk for hours about anything. And as soon as they make him the candidate, it's he's so constricted he couldn't be himself.
Mary Milquetoast.
I think a lot of presidents, especially in recent times, don't like to have strong people around them. We've had some pretty no-name cabinets for quite some time, actually. George Bush, neither George Bush wanted somebody like Steve Forbes, for example, in the cabinet. Somebody who had their own power, their own thoughts, their own everything. It was just more like these mid-level managers.
Yes men.
And to a degree, yes men, or at least don't rock the boat men. And Romney's showing me he can live very easily with guys with their own ideas on things, and that's a very, very good thing. The whole turnaround on the Medicare issue, by pounding away at Obama raiding Medicare to pay for Obamacare, was absolutely brilliant. It just completely thwarted the Democrats' game plan. It threw it out the window because their whole plan was, well, we're just going to we're going to do the Medicare thing because that always works. And instead, the polls are showing that the public is actually buying the Republican position, which is, hey, if anybody's ruining Medicare, it's Obama. And that has got them thrown for a loop because that's all they had on Ryan. I mean, they were salivating that he picks Ryan because we can paint him as an ogre. Well, guess what? Ryan can speak for himself. Ryan can debate these guys day and night and come out on top. So if this is going to be a battle of ideas, Democrats lose. So I think it was a brilliant. It was a brilliant pick for a variety of reasons, and it also unites the conservative base solidly behind Romney at this point. I think the polls are all showing that, too.
How is the convention going to be anticlimactic now because he's already gained all this momentum?
Yeah, well, the networks are already cutting back. They're showing, as a matter of fact, they're going to have that Todd Palin show where they're going to be showing instead of the convention on Monday night. I forget what it's called, where he joins the special forces or whatever.
Yeah.
He goes through special forces training. He probably had a little bit more training than I had for my 5K.
He probably needs more training, though. I mean, you went out and proved it can be done like you did it.
I think the interesting part about this campaign is that Obama and his wife are starting to show up at all the talk shows, and I think it's very undignified of the office.
Yeah.
With
all the entertainment shows.
The entertainment shows. It just shows the undignification of the.
Yeah. He's denigrated the office.
Yes, I really believe that. She may be a terrific person, and Michelle.
No, not likely.
But I don't think it's the place for that type of.
And I think the American people as a whole, he's been running actively for so long. There comes a point that,
Try being president for a while. Yeah. I think Peggy Noonan put it perfectly. Yeah. He says he's running like he's a guy who wants to be president. Well, all he has to do to be president is be president. Why, why are you acting like you want to be president when you already are president?
And everything that's wrong with the economy or the state of the nation is because of his predecessor.
Right.
I mean,
as somebody said the other, did Ronald Reagan spend his first 4 years blaming Jimmy Carter for everything? Hell no. He spent his first 4 years trying to find a way out of it.
This guy, everything that's wrong is he blames on his predecessor, and he hasn't done anything that I can think of.
I'm looking at the. I really think that this is going to be a slaughter, this race. This is not even going to be close. The press is trying to make this into a nail biter. It isn't a nail biter. There's a bunch of states that are supposed to be solid blue states that I think Romney's carrying. I think he's going to carry Michigan, He's going to, which hasn't gone Republican in a long time, probably since '84. I think he's going to carry Wisconsin, and there's a very good chance he's going to carry Minnesota, which hasn't gone Republican since Eisenhower, probably. I don't know. Now, if Romney starts carrying those states, well, you don't even have to discuss the so-called battleground states. He's certainly going to carry Indiana, North Carolina, and Virginia, and probably Iowa, and after that,
He doesn't need anybody else.
right. And I think he's going to carry New Hampshire. He should. He's been on TV in New Hampshire for a long time, and he's got a home in New Hampshire. So I think once you get off the West Coast and a couple of states on the East Coast, I don't concede Massachusetts to Obama, to tell you the truth. The polls have got Scott Brown doing very well there. They have him like 5 points ahead in his Senate race, which everybody said he was going to lose. And Romney was a popular governor of Massachusetts. And they've got a terrible governor right now. So it's altogether possible, notwithstanding the far left fringe in Cambridge and the greater Boston. The rest of the state may very well surprise. Now, if that happens, we're almost talking 1984 stuff again, where, if you recall, Reagan lost one state in the District of Columbia, and the one state he almost carried, which was Minnesota.
Right. I think people are just really, really sick of this nonstop campaigning that's taking place. If you're not in Washington, how are you doing the business of government? How are you conducting things? And he just doesn't demonstrate any sort of true leadership.
Does he seem like he's been at all engaged in the presidency since he's been there?
No.
Even when his centerpiece of Obamacare was going through, he paid no. He wasn't calling up congressmen or having people come on over and say, "Let's do this, let's do that."
His handlers are doing that.
He just said, "Pelosi, you figure it out and send me a bill." They sent us the bill.
We're still paying that bill anyway.
His speeches have nothing to do with helping the state of the nation.
Yeah.
It's all a complaint about somebody else.
Right. Right.
Do something. Show us what you did.
Yeah.
He is.
That's it.
So they're kind of boxed in. I mean, they've spent a fortune trying to demonize Romney and the Republicans, and have failed at it. If anything, the polls are showing that they're moving in the other direction. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of that here. There was some of it on the Olympics. Speaking of, well, you were gone during that time period. During the Olympics, it was like every 20 minutes, Obama was on doing a commercial for himself for his presidency, and I just thought that was in such poor taste. I think even if I didn't already find him revolting, that would have revolted me.
Yeah.
Because you know what? This is the freaking Olympics. You're the president of the whole United States. You're not a guy trying to piece together the 51% you need to get reelected. You're the president of the United States. This is the Olympics are representing us as a nation, and that's what you should be doing right now too, and nothing else. So it was, well, there's big difference between me and the other side. You know, the other side wants to destroy you, where I want to save you. You know.
Yes. And we shall, if you give us the power to save you.
It's just bad taste, bad form. It's like they're tone deaf. Okay, now let's get to the event of the week, which was that unfortunate thing in Missouri. With Congressman Aiken and his comments. Number one, I'm, if I were a congressman, I'd be on the pretty conservative congressman. Okay, I would have a very strong ACU rating, if not 100%. It's certainly in the high 90s. You don't get more pro-life than me. You don't. I believe in it completely and absolutely. When a guy like me is stunned by what this guy said, he's in trouble. Okay? I mean, you know, a lot of times I'd say, well, look, they're overreacting because what he was saying was this, that, and no. There was nothing this guy was saying that was not idiotic. I mean, the incredible. It's not. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's not like, I forget how many years he's been in Congress. It's not like he's never heard this question before or the issue raised. At this point in his career, it ought to be like pushing a button. Boom, da 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 da. Look, I understand the trauma. Da 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 da. Instead, he came out looking like Dukakis at when they asked him that question in the debate, which is still a chilling response as you're ever going to see. Now, suppose your wife was raped. I would call the police or whatever it was he said. But it was like the total indifference to the horror that was just presented, and this guy came off really bad, and he ought to go. And he should have gone last Tuesday. Instead, he's got Mike Huckabee pushing him. You got to keep going. And Huckabee can wreck the Republican Party single-handedly, and I would take him off the speaking platform right now if I were them. But they won't, because he controls a lot of votes. But anyway, the guy should go. They should run another candidate. If he won't get out of the race, they ought to run a solid write-in. Because certainly McCaskill deserves to go, but he doesn't deserve to take a place. As Krauthammer said the other night, the last thing Congress needs is another stupid idiot, something like that.
Yeah. Well, he's right.
We've already got plenty of those.
Yeah.
And we don't need them on our side.
Or you don't want them associated with our side.
No, because
you're
just
guilty by association.
You know that wacky guy out in Kansas, the Reverend Fred Phelps.
Yeah.
He's painted as the voice of Christianity by people on the opposite side. The guy is a loon. He's one of the most evil people in America. This is a guy who protests at the soldiers' funerals and stuff like that. Yeah. And they yell and scream at this is God's punishment and GodHatesFags.com and all this stuff. I've met them. I've met the Phelps family, and they are really Looney Tunes. Yeah. Looney Tunes. Met them at Reagan's funeral. Now this was pretty funny because it wasn't funny, but it's ironic. There's a group of relatively mild protesters on the other side of the street opposite the National Cathedral where Reagan's funeral was being held. And they're essentially blaming Reagan for, however many hundreds of thousands of AIDS deaths that Reagan's responsible. Meanwhile, the Phelps family is condemning Reagan to hell for having, for knowing gay people or something like that, or from being from Hollywood. It didn't matter. They were just protesting. Wherever they are, Bob Dole showed up, and Phelps got right in his face. Bob Dole from Kansas! That woman you're married to is not your wife. Your wife is back in Kansas. That woman you're married to is a whore. You're gonna go to hell, Bob Dole. Yeah. Bob Dole I'm Bob Dole.
And walked right through.
Yeah, but I mean, this is at a funeral, and this is like right outside. This is where everybody was getting off to. All the guests were getting out of their cars, right in front of Fred Phelps. So Patricia and I stood between them and the cameras. We'd never heard of these people before. The cops knew all about them. Apparently, they come all the time. So we had our umbrellas up hiding their signs and stuff like that. But after a while, we said, we really don't want our pictures taken with these people, no matter what.
That's right.
So we went back down the road and left them to their
Devices.
I think David turned to Phelps' daughter at one point and said, which part of the Beatitudes don't you get?
That's a good line.
Well, obviously you don't know your Bible, sir. And and she said, he doesn't know his Bible. Oh, gee. And the voice of Christianity. Where did I start with it? How did I get off on Fred Phelps? Because I don't want Congressman Aiken or Senator Aiken to be the voice of the Right to Life movement or the Republican Party or conservatism in general. I think he ought to just go away. Go away. Bite the bullet. And this is not a matter of principle. This is a matter of ego.
Romney wrote him off pretty good there. And
yes, they all did. Yes,
But
yeah,
he's still there.
but he's still there. And what are you going to do? That's the, he's entitled to stay on the ballot if he wants to, even though he doesn't belong there. And and this is the guy who won with 36% of the vote because McCaskill and the Democrats put $2 million into his campaign. Yeah. But people are dumb enough to listen to Mike Huckabee. This is what they get. They should have listened to Sarah Palin. That's the only Palin candidate that didn't win this primary season. Everybody else up to that point, every single person that she backed won.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including Ted Cruz in Texas, where they said he wasn't going to win, and he wins by 11% or something. Yeah. Oh yeah. She had a real run, and then that was a close three-way race. I think her candidate ended up with like 28% or something like that.
Three-way, yeah.
Sarah Steelman. And they've got a sore loser law out in Missouri, so that
They have a what?
a sore loser law,
What's that?
which means if you run in a primary and you lose, you cannot then run on a write-in ballot. You can run, but your votes don't count.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, even if you win, you don't get elected.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So as a result, the person who probably should be the candidate, Sarah Palin's girl, can't do it unless the other guy gets out.
Huh. Never heard of that.
Never heard that.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, a lot of states have that. Interesting. And I guess I don't know if they allow independent parties or not out there, but it's probably too late for that anyway.
Did we mention the state of the city, how wonderful everything is going in the city?
Well, I don't know. We haven't been together. The three of us haven't been on the same show in a long time here.
Yeah.
Well, when we started the second hour, I think we mentioned a little bit that the mayor's.
I think we did that off camera, or did
Yeah,
we?
probably.
All right.
About
We were.
her radio show this morning.
Oh, was she on the radio?
Yeah. It's her monthly show. I think. Well, I
She
shouldn't
was
say
talking
what
to
I was
Sam
thinking
this
about the
morning.
monthly, but she said that things are so terrific in the city,
Wow.
which I wish they were. That they're rethinking the train station downtown, and now they're saying they should put it. The survey says that they should put it near the pedestrian bridge, and it's going to generate $45 million economic boom to the city.
Wow. How's that?
By-
Because more people will be coming there?
Well, that's part of it, and it's the bridge is a wonderful, wonderful idea because it's going to spur.
It's going to be a destination.
It's going to be a spur the local economy by having people come just to be on the bridge, like they do in Massachusetts and Poughkeepsie. And somebody asked about the maintenance of it, and she said, we're going to have a drop box on each end of the bridge to
Take donations.
take donations to help with the maintenance. She did say to help with the maintenance, and she says
Well, the city has never agreed to cover the maintenance of this bridge.
No, not
Well,
yet.
The way she
Not yet.
spoke, the city would be taking care of the minor maintenance,
The minor
main
maintenance.
and the major stuff will be handled by the state.
which I don't believe, because the state usually doesn't do that.
Well, all I can tell you is what Paul Tonko said when we had that meeting in the mayor's office was, I said, who's going to do the maintenance on this? He says, well, I assume the city will.
The city will, yeah,
That's when he was
But-
still assemblyman.
but the city has to pass a resolution to take it.
Right.
And once
The
it's-
city has never agreed to do anything with
No.
this bridge.
No,
We're
they
not
haven't.
taking title to it.
So that's one of the things. And
All right.
let's see, what else should you heard part-
So wait, I mean, is she saying that more people will be using the train station
Yes,
because it'll be downtown?
because it'll be downtown.
Where are they
Yeah.
going to park?
And I don't know. Evidently, they haven't figured that out yet. It's going to spur economic growth downtown, because you have the train station there, you're going to have restaurants and other businesses to take care of the people getting off the train.
I think I've mentioned this before, but it's worth mentioning again because people don't always go back through our archives. Back in the early 70s, the train station moved from downtown, the end of Railroad Street,
Yeah, down by where the park is.
to the west end. Now, by the theory you're espousing here, the commercial area of the west end must have grown tremendously as a result of that train station being there.
Well, we got a Stewart's.
They
That's in Fort
replaced
Johnson.
another gas station in Fort Johnson.
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah.
And that's not really within reasonable
but,
walking distance.
But
You wouldn't even know it's
But
there.
the other restaurant that was open on West Main Street, two of them have closed. The Hungry Bear
The Hungry Bear.
Yeah,
and
Homer and Bees.
Marticello's,
Oh yeah, right.
the yacht club,
Yeah.
and the grocery store, the C&B's grocery store.
Well, you had Matthews on the Avenue for a while, on the Guy Park Avenue. That wasn't too far. Oh, that's close too, isn't it?
Yes. So
Oh.
so there was no economic growth because the train station moved to the.
And that's kind of like a commercially zoned area down there too, down on West Main Street anyway.
Yes. Yes.
So what you're saying is that all those people getting off at the new train station
Or getting on.
Or getting on.
aren't spending any money. Period.
No, they're not.
Is there even a vending machine down there? It's,
The place isn't even open anymore.
yeah.
You just stand there and wait to.
Since the
Your
flood,
stuff?
the CSX or whoever owned it just abandoned it.
Amtrak. Yeah.
Amtrak, they closed it up, boarded it up. And if you want to get the train down there, you have to wait outside. I went down there one day to pick up somebody coming in from New York, and it was a rainy day.
Yeah.
So I sat in my car, waited.
Yeah.
He got off the train, he jumped in the car. But for the half hour before the train come in, there was another guy waiting for the train to go out, and he had to stand in the rain because there was no place for him
Wow.
to stand. So
Well, that'll all be improved with this colossal new train station.
Yes, yeah.
We're going to build with our own money, probably. Yeah.
So if they do that, they're going to have to make a crossing down there somewhere.
Well, and then finally, we'll build a new elevator system, and finally, Main Street will then be connected with, or not.
Well, no, they haven't figured out how to get off that pedestrian bridge yet.
Yeah.
That has not been figured out yet. And the maintenance or the construction of it, the state is not doing. Getting off that bridge is going to be up to the city to raise the money to put the egress.
So there'll be a
Are you
bridge,
kidding
but there
me?
won't
No,
be
I'm
any-
not. I asked the question at that meeting at the school, and the seller's right there. He says there is no plan, there is no design to get off the bridge as of yet. That's going to be up to the city and how they're going to fund it. I'm telling you, I don't know if anybody recorded that.
So you get to the north bank, but then you
turn around and you go back.
turn around and go back.
Do they have an egress from the south side?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one exists. Yeah.
But the north side doesn't.
On and off on the south side. Because they even made the statement that if something happens on the north side of the bridge and they need an ambulance, the ambulance has to go across the bridge, across the pedestrian bridge, pick up the person, go all the way back around.
Or they could just go down to the existing crossing at Front Street. I mean, it's amazing what people will accept as reasonable truth when the whole thing is bizarre.
Yeah, one fella called up and he was strictly against the pedestrian bridge, and he was talking. And you know what's amazing is when the mayor starts talking, she does not allow anybody else to talk.
Right.
You start answering her question, and she cuts you off in a minute. She talked for what, 5 minutes? That guy tried to finish his thing
along the way, yeah.
and he couldn't do it. And then finally somebody called in and said that it was such a wonderful idea. She let him talk.
No, of course.
You said the restaurant down there at the Riverlink Park has been doing a
They're
great
doing
business.
very great business.
You know, and I would
Well, that's
say,
great. I
say
think
that
the
the
city-
nights when they have the
They're
concerts
closing.
down there, they probably do a real nice
They're
business.
closing for the season next week.
Well, and the city,
I think
and the, I don't know whether the city or the foundation is getting $300 a year for the
rental.
for rental on the place, and we do all the maintenance.
We all, yeah, that's one of the contracts that was really screwed up.
Yeah.
And one of the callers did mention that, you know, if they want this to be successful, they absolutely have to figure some way besides walking on that bridge from the mall down there, because people who are from outside city can't even find it to go down to the park if they think they want to go down to it,
Right,
because
exactly.
it certainly isn't an appealing way to get.
And frankly,
get
if
there.
you know, even if they do end up hooking the new pedestrian bridge up with it, that's even farther.
Yeah, it is.
That's like half a mile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, but that certainly would.
I mean,
have to
I'd be hard pressed to run it, frankly.
and demonstrate your ability to run quite well.
I do.
last week.
I do like the idea. After seeing this 5K in Canajahari, I do like the idea of doing something here. We could do this on the south side. We call it the South Side Scramble.
You know, it's
And we could do it very easily because we have the bike
Bike
path
path.
right there, just like they do in Canajahari.
Yeah.
And it's already measured, and you wouldn't do just a bike path. I would go up by the Armory and maybe over Perkins Street and then back down and over Hoover Avenue and
Go by Mike's house.
and yeah, go up near Mike's house anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go to Mike's house.
I wouldn't want to go necessarily Mike's house because he's got two dogs now.
Yeah, well, he's got nice dogs. They're very beautiful dogs.
Aren't they beautiful
Yeah,
dogs?
Yeah. Beautiful white
What are they? Alsatian or no
Pyrenees.
Pyrenees? Pyrenees
I don't know,
sheepdog
but
or
they
something
look
like
like
that.
yeah, they're
Oh, they're beautiful animals.
Beautiful animals.
Passive.
They seem pleasant. Yeah,
Yes, they're not like
that's your
the-
question.
Not like the wild one that he had.
Yeah, I went. You know, I don't know. Have you been on since Michael lost this dog? I don't think so.
No.
I mean, that was quite a shock because I didn't learn about it till I got back from out west. And you know, this dog was very close to Michael.
Part of the family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I went over to extend my personal condolences,
Yeah.
and
so did I.
he answers the door, and I'm talking to him, and I always bring my wife along when I go over there now because otherwise he'll just dismiss me, you know. But when my wife's there, he has to be polite. So I'm offering my condolences, and all of a sudden I hear this bark. And he gets this silly little grin on his face, and I'm thinking, have I been misled here? He says, no, I have two new dogs. So yeah, but a Southside Scramble. Doesn't that sound like me?
That would be a good idea. You got to mention it to somebody. But what'll happen is they'll do it, but they'll never mention your name. They'll never say.
Well, I don't care. I don't want to.
No. But
as a matter of fact, if I mention it, it'll never happen.
Don't they?
Well, that's what you got to be careful.
Yeah.
of.
Doesn't Stu Palzak do something called the Mule Hall over there as a run on the south side already?
Well, I don't know if does he do it formally, because I know the very first time Jamie joined the cross country team, he just went along as a lark, I think with Austin Rumberger or somebody. He just went along because he had nothing to do one day in August, and they were running the mule path
Yeah.
from the canal store
Yeah.
and going toward Fort Hunter and back that way. I don't know whether he does it formally or not. He may very well.
I thought they had
Could be.
kind of
Could
evolved.
be. The
into
Southside
something.
Scramble's got a.
They had a pretty successful 3-on-3 tournament for the kids for the recreation.
Last Saturday at the
last
Veterans
Saturday,
Park.
yeah.
Yeah, did quite well.
you know,
There's an article in
I-
the paper today about it.
Yeah, I had suggested to the recreation department, I don't know how many times, and I gave them articles about it, about the Gus Macker 3-on-3 tournament.
Right. We promoted that on the old show on the radio. Yeah.
And I didn't go to this one out in Norwich this past year. I don't know what happened this July, but I didn't make it. But you know, Norwich is a city of maybe 8,000, 9,000 people. They bring in almost 10,000 people for this
Wow.
Gus Macker tournament, because they come from all over. People follow this outfit. In Norwich, they had people from Schenectady, Albany, Oneonta, you know, all the surrounding counties that are there, and it's a 2-day thing down there, 2 or 3 days, maybe 3 days, but it's terrific. I brought pictures back the last time, and I gave it to the recreation, but
No, this was run by a different group
these
of
were
folks.
kids. That's why it happened.
Yeah.
This is run by kids.
It was
So-
run by T.J. Sesky and John Sumner and
Yeah.
Calvin Martin, and they, you know, in a matter of a couple weeks, they put this whole show together, and they got thousands of dollars worth of donation for awards and food and stuff. It was a real good thing, and I think you know, they keep at it, it's going to grow in size and stature, and it will perhaps do something to bring part of this community together and begin to look at, you know, what do we have for our kids to do, and the things that we do have for our kids, we need to get them involved in,
Right.
you know, and the community together. So I think, you know, I thought they did a real nice job considering how little time they really had to put together and thinking of it and organizing it all. You know, the school district was involved in some of it, the city recreation department was involved in it, and I think they did a real nice job.
And speaking of nice things going on in the city, I appreciate the efforts that this Shuttleworth Park Foundation is doing to raise money to continually improve the place, which has improved dramatically in the last 10 years, thanks in large part to Brian Spagnola. The Mohawks had one tremendous season this year. They ended up being ranked 3rd in the country among college league teams, and they're up against the Cape Cod League, which is considered the premier showcase for future Hall of Famers, really, for future Major League ball players. And our team here in Amsterdam ranked number 3 in the whole country, including the Cape Cod League, and justifiably so. I mean, they completely dominated the perfect game league here in the state, and placed I don't know how many players on the various all-star teams and such. Great pitching, great hitting,
and they get a lot of people every
and
day.
a lot of people involved.
And now they're talking about being the home park for the Union College baseball team.
Is that right?
And that was a couple weeks ago. They said there was a local college that's looking to play their games in Amsterdam, and they're looking to do some upgrades on the park. And it turns out Union will be playing their fall and spring season here, and the city is going to put in artificial turf out there
on the infield.
On the infield for them, and it's going to cost, I don't know, $16,000. I don't know what the figure was, but the rental they're getting from the college is, you know, $8,000 plus a year on it. So in a matter of a year's time, it's going to be, this rent will still be coming in, and the park will be upgraded one more step in there. So I mean,
I don't like artificial turf. I'm against it.
Well, a lot of places have taken that artificial turf out.
Yeah.
But I think the turf they're looking at is like the turf we have at the high school.
Oh yeah, which
is the premier artificial turf in the country with the rubble and sand in it, and it's a lot more like natural grass. But they're talking about now having that facility use additional, instead of the 8 or 10 weeks that the
Right.
Mohawks use it, they're going to extend it by 6 weeks at both ends of
Right.
the season, and
Which
you
is
know,
great.
triple the usage of the park.
Why? I mean, I can't believe that Union doesn't have their own facility that would be as worthy of their home park as Amsterdam.
They have a natural turf football field.
Yeah, but there's no place on campus to put a baseball stadium, and there's nothing in the city of Schenectady that lends itself with the aura and the type of program and the facility that the college wants to be involved in. So
Well, they probably
picking
figured,
us.
not only that, they probably figured that Amsterdam is such a sports city that
Will
that
adopt
they're-
Union.
they would
Yeah.
adopt Union, and it'd be a great for their.
Yeah,
their-
sure, it'd be great all the way around.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was down at Albany State over the weekend, now called whatever it is. I heard somebody yelling, "Go UA!" and I said, "What the heck is this?" The University of Albany. I always thought it was a bit pompous. Sunya was good enough for me. It just should be good enough for these. But no, we're the University of Albany. Anyway, I was down there. I haven't been down there many times in recent years. Anna went to school there for 4 years, but I didn't really get down all that much to the main campus while she was there. And that was a while ago now. The sport, we were down because our niece from the Philadelphia area, Zoe Kale, is playing for the Northeastern field hockey team. She got a full scholarship to Northeastern to play field hockey. I'd never seen field hockey before, I don't think. And I just assumed that it was played like on the Four Diamonds over here. It's like played on a pool table. They've got their own artificial turf that really looks like green felt, a cover of a pool table. So it's very smooth back and forth. But they water it down. Because some of the shots require, it's like they're recreating a swampy field artificially. So in between quarters, they spray the thing down, and if you hit the ball in a certain way, the water you're taking up with the ball makes it go in one direction or another. So it's all part of the skill of the game. Very interesting. But what I noticed along these lines was what used to be lots of baseball fields are now like one field way over on the far end. It used to be you could go do a pickup game after class down by the gym, and there'd be 4 or 5 different ball diamonds you could pick, or intramural and stuff like that. And then they don't do that anymore. Apparently they don't do that. There's no interest in it anymore. It's all everything else.
Structured games now. No more pickup games.
Soccer and there's a separate soccer stadium, separate football stadium, which we had back then. But the Giants had just left, so we didn't have to deal with them.
You may not have to deal with them again.
Yeah,
But so I could see, as big as places Albany State is, they don't have anything resembling a baseball park like we have here.
No, it is. It's the gem of the city.
It really
absolutely
is.
Fabulous.
It really is.
And then you look at the football field we have for the football team. That is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
The Little League field up at Isabel's, what they've done with that in the last 7 or 8 years. I mean, you've got lights, you've got the big field, you've got the small field for T-ball and stuff. We really are a sports community.
Yes.
And a great deal of time.
We got the 2
effort, and
Cinderella
money.
fields.
Down there at Shuttleworth. Yeah.
They still call it. They call it something else now, don't they?
Amsterdam Girls Softball League,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shalava still was the founder, and they still should be still called.
And
Cinderella
they
League.
need a little more parking though.
Well, but that's we.
But then you lose what park
Yeah.
park is down there where you can go down and picnic,
Yeah.
and that gets used quite a bit in the summertime. A lot of people go down there and have cookouts and things.
Well, the next step ought to be, before we left office, we got Martin Milano to donate those lots he owned at the end of Crescent on the other side of the creek there. Not at the end of Crescent, end of Hewitt Street. If you go down Hewitt Street, you run right into it. There's room for 40 cars or so there once they take the trees down. Be a nice parking lot, and the end of it is not far from the back of the ballpark. So you just got to put a little footbridge over the Chuckton Under around where the dam is, and that'd be great. That'd hook that right up and get you all that more extra parking space at virtually no cost.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
I mean,
that'd be
that's
great.
tough
That'd
getting
be-
down there parking for these home games sometimes with the Mohawks. It is.
And
packed.
that's a good thing.
It is.
You know?
It is.
Used to be the biggest problem we had in Amsterdam was there was too much traffic at Market in Main on a Friday night, and
No.
we cured that problem.
Yeah.
We took care of that
Now we-
in a spectacular fashion.
That's the next thing. They're rerouting our traffic downtown.
I can't envision how it's going to be now. I mean,
I think
as
it's
bad
gonna-
as it is now, I can't imagine what they're going to do that's going to, you know, it's the hardest thing for us while we were in Scotland is these people driving on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah,
I
the
couldn't visualize
bastards.
going around these rotaries, which have many of their, I couldn't figure
You
that
get
out.
used to
What will
anything
be-
after a while, but I was talking to one of the city officials the other day. I said, geez, I hope they're at least going to put some kind of barrier up to separate these lanes, or people are going to be crashing into each other constantly.
I'll tell you.
You come off the bridge, you expect to go take that left lane by the post office, and all of a sudden there's a car coming in the other direction.
Yeah, yeah.
I was looking for a place on Route 9 a couple weeks ago, and I didn't know where it was, so I said, well, I'm going to go up to Boston Spa, and I'll get on 9, and I'll go down south. I'll see, to find out where this place is, to look for it. Every mile or 2 miles, there was a roundabout.
A roundabout now,
I said-
yeah. Drives you crazy.
It did. I said, I'm not going back this way. I came back a different way. I said, this is crazy. I
Yeah.
said, it was
And I don't know, these things go through phases. Latham Circle is one of the first traffic circles. They now call them roundabouts, but there was. And that was the big thing in the 50s,
Yeah.
late 50s. And then in the 60s, they started realizing we're getting an awful lot of crashes here. And I remember Channel 10 going out to do a story on it, and while the reporter is standing there, there's a crash right behind her. Pow! Right? And so they did away. They started undoing the traffic circles. Now all of a sudden they're all back in again, and they're spending a fortune on it because they're doing them all at once.
Yeah.
And I can envision in another 5 years, the new engineering standards going to be we got to get rid of the roundabouts.
The traveling, I'm not sure whether it was Massachusetts, no, it was Pennsylvania, I think it was, where if you wanted to take a left-hand turn, you take the right-hand ramp, and it comes around,
Yeah.
so you don't turn into that traffic.
Yeah.
And I said, this is great. I said, why the hell don't they do that up here?
Right.
It was several places. I think it was Pennsylvania. I'm not sure. I forgot where the hell I was last year.
Every time we go to someplace where we got around, all I can think about is Kingston Trio song, the MTA, get Charlie off the MTA. And all I can think is people got around about, and they just can't seem to get in the right lane to get off and go where they got to go.
Oh, you want to have fun with one? There's one in suburban Boston over by Somerville or someplace. It's one of those places where you just got to use your nose and try to figure out where you're going, because we had the GPS with us. So we call her Toodles after the Mickey Mouse program. But the Toodles can't operate fast.
Recalculating.
Yeah, can't operate fast enough in a traffic circle.
Right.
And so we're going. We don't. There's like 6 exits from this one kind of big circle, and we're driving around it, and then Toodles keeps recalculating. In 30 feet, turn right, and well, wait a minute. There's this right, and there's this right.
Yeah.
Oh my
Your other
God.
right, yeah.
So we went around like 3 times before we finally
Good job, Charlie.
took our own choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thought somewhere around the Bunker Hill. I know I could see the Bunker Hill Monument. I was trying to get to it.
Not the Breeds Hill Monument, it's the Bunker Hill.
Well, it's on Breeds Hill, but it's called the Bunker Hill Monument.
Which is not to be confused with Bunker Hill Road on the Sacodaga.
Correct.
Okay.
That was named after I think Seth Bunker, who used to be the town of Florida supervisor.
Oh.
I think.
Even though
No, I don't know.
Sacodaga isn't in the town of Florida. Okay.
No, not yet. It might be someday. It's really not that far away. We can
Change the subject.
change the subject.
Where did you get these bricks?
Well, if you watched last week, oh no, we kind of cut it out of last week's show. These bricks were, Jamie picked them up. They were somebody's chimney, actually.
I was going to say, CB Company, is that the Cranesville Block Company or not?
Oh, I don't think so. I think these are older than that. Maybe it is.
Does the guy know his chimney is gone now?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. I think he actually delivered them here.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
wasn't like you just went to somebody's chimney and pulled the bricks out.
Now, it wasn't going to be a brick surface originally, but we ended up having just about enough bricks. So.
I don't know what kind of brick they are, but
And they're not. This is this is just a temporary. We don't know what the future will bring for this little project here, but it came just in time for us to do a few shows from here before the winter, before the weather changes.
Yeah.
Isn't this a lovely spot? I mean,
This is
you
great.
got just enough shade that it's comfortable here. We got the
next week-
glorious green background.
next
and,
week they'll get those the weeds out of there so I can
get a better
see
view of the
better.
pool.
Yeah. Because
Uh,
of course it's not going to be in your picture, but
yeah, but you have to look.
I got
at
to
it.
look at it. For 2
Looking
hours.
past the camera, we have the Casa Bob swimming pool, and the roses Sharon are in bloom, and the regular roses. We picked see that line of roses on the other side of the fence. We picked those up at the end of the season a couple of years ago for like $2 a bush or something like that, or some crazy thing, and they've been just nonstop blooming ever
pretty.
since. Really nice, really nice. This place is looking pretty good.
Yeah, it is. It is.
James did all the work on this when he was home this summer.
It's even a better deal.
I got a project that I've got the material. Didn't get the materials. I got the literature. I'm going to build an adobe oven in the backyard, so I can bake my bread in a wood.
Well, that's what I was thinking of doing with some of these bricks, and then he ended up using them down here. And what can I say? They're his bricks. They were just dumped at the end of our driveway up here.
Yeah, transport them all
Who
up
brought
here?
them up here?
Some guy. I think
no,
they got
up here.
Oh, Jamie brought them over this far,
Oh.
but they were all just heaped in this pile. And while Jamie was away, I started going through them and stacking them up, and I know I stacked like 520 of them, and I had not touched the bottom of the pile. That was just the good ones. I mean,
Yeah.
there were a lot of half ones and 3/4 ones and such. So it was a nice collection, and I'm thinking, and plus we had I had good sized pieces of the flue, and I'm thinking, boy, I'm going to build a backyard fireplace here, or a bread oven. I was thinking about all those things, but he ended up using them, so that's okay. All this stuff is free. There's concrete blocks here and everything, and so
Price is right.
he checks Craigslist all the time. What time we got here?
12 o'clock.
What?
12 o'clock?
It is
Really?
12 o'clock, really?
Oh.
Well, we didn't even get to talk of half of the stuff we wanted
I
to
know.
talk about.
Write it down.
Times when we're having flies. It just absolutely-
Okay, so what's going on with the school board? Anything here?
We have a meeting the other night. We've got a couple interim principals coming in to fill in the middle school, and Teckler, because the principal at Teckler fell and broke her ankle, and she's
Oh,
having some
wow.
serious problems
Ooh.
with her leg because of that. She's gonna be out 6 to 8 weeks, so we had to get an
Wow.
interim there, and we have an interim at.
Will she be back in
no,
time for the World Series or not?
She's
Close.
close, but maybe not. Maybe
Yeah.
not. And then the middle school, we have an interim coming in there. So we hire somebody. The interview should be starting probably.
Now, what
next
happened?
week
The
on
middle
that.
school principal went somewhere else?
He went to Marie Curie,
Okay.
and so we've got an opening at the middle school. We got somebody coming in there to get things off the ground until we can get somebody, and hopefully we'll have somebody in by the end of September for that.
Okay.
And it's the board is going to get to work probably next week or so on next year's budget. Get a good start on that to see what we need to do there. So it's.
Well, I'll tell you what you
it's
need to
important.
do.
It's cut taxes.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think you've got some really bright people on the board and some hardworking people, and I think the product that's going to be produced is going to be the best for the community, the taxpayers, and the students in the school district. So.
Now you adopt one budget at a time, but do you do forward-looking budgets? Do you look
I
5
think-
years down the road?
Yeah, Kim Brumley has been working on that, and then taking, we've got several contracts are being negotiated right now, so that'll come into play, and do a better projection down the road to see where we are than traditionally has been done here. Usually it's a year to year, and you never really know. But I think with Kim in there, that they're really starting to focus on the future and where we're going to end up in the future if this happens, or where we can be if other things are done properly to get a better handle on the way things have been. So that's the goal, and hopefully we can achieve our goals. That provides everything for people. The high school is getting finished up there. That's the last part of the construction project at the high school. There's some classrooms that were getting done in special ed. They've redone the entire entrance to the school, the walkway up there, and they're putting a new traffic pattern in front of the school, so you won't be getting that cross traffic we've always had.
The buses are going to be able to loop around now?
Loop around, and cars will be going out the backside and won't be crossing like they have been since the school was built. And so
that was
nice.
called the Murdoch plan, wasn't it?
That was one of the things I proposed. I haven't. We'll see when it comes out whether it's my plan or somebody else's plan. Depends how that
And it
goes.
doesn't matter who gets the credit as long as the job gets
As long
done.
as it gets done, absolutely.
Yeah.
Middle school, there did some work on a gymnasium down there, put a new flooring down there, which is really beautiful because they've had a lot of water issues over the years down there. They've also finished up the auditorium in there. They've maintained the historic architecture that was in there and replaced a lot of the seating and the lights and everything. It's going to be a real beautiful place, similar to what the high school.
Best theater in town. Best theater in town, no question about it.
So, a lot of things going on there too. So.
Right. All right. So I guess we got to wrap it up here. And it's been an exciting 2 hours here. I think it's because we got Jim back finally. All right.
See, that's what
We're gonna try to continue to do this every Friday for the foreseeable future, and I hope we're able to go at least into mid-October out here because this is
beautiful.
This is a beautiful spot,
Beautiful.
at least for us. And anybody got any ideas for our indoor stuff? My dining room isn't the greatest place. It'll do if it has to, but
Give us a call.
yeah.
BR549.
What?
BR549 is our phone number.
BR.
Oh no, that's Junior Samples Used Car Lot. I'm sorry. Is it VI?
Victor.
2?
Victor 3 or Victor 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're in the book.
All right.
That's it.
Yeah, Stacja Radio VWCSS Victor 325. Okay. Viva Genesee. All right. I'm Bob Going with Gavin Murdoch and Jim Nikosha. And thanks to Pete Rose from the first hour who brought me this lovely rock as a symbol of my triumphant return to athletics in the Boiling Pot 5K in Kanajahari last week. Okay. And that does it for this week in another edition of The Show with No Name.